Welcome back to another Rebels Media broadcast. My name is Bamdad.
My name is MJ, and we'll be showing you some of our favorite Buena Vista teachers.
Today we're going to show you some videos that the media arts students prepared.
The first video we'll be showing you features Miss Kango, a math teacher who has a very fun and unique teaching style.
So Ms. Kango, what got you into teaching?
So I actually tried teaching on a whim. So I had finished my undergrad, I went traveling for a couple of years, and then I decided, hey, why don't I try teaching like a lot of other people? So I applied to the program just to see if it would work, and I got in, and I managed to get in to do all my practicums and do all the programs. And then, as it happens, I still wasn't too sure if teaching was the right thing. So I actually left teaching after I finished my teaching program for a little bit. But then I really missed teaching students and having a classroom and building relationships. And so I actually ended up coming back, and it's the best thing I ever did because I'm really happy where I am in teaching right now.
Okay. What's your favorite memory as a teacher?
I don't have one specific favorite memory, but in general, my favorite memories are always towards the end of the year when classes are working on projects. And usually we're sitting in the class and they're just kind of working away at their projects and they're chatting and we're chatting with each other. And usually by this time we've kind of gotten to know each other a little bit more, and it just feels very comfortable, and it just reminds me of what I liked about school when you're working, but it's also kind of a safe social environment, and that's always something that really makes me happy.
Okay. Also, what are things you like to do outside of school, like your hobby?
Yes, okay, so I'm very involved in the Vancouver Estonian Society. Estonia is a country in Northern Europe, and that's where my family is from. And I'm a folk dancer. I used to be a singer with the community as well, but not so much anymore. But now I'm a folk dancer, and currently we are practicing to audition for the 2025 Dansupidoo, which is like the huge dance festival. And so we're practicing a whole bunch of routines, and we'll be auditioning, and we'll be there with basically like a third of the country. It's a whole football field full of performers performing at once, and it's kind of a big deal. So that's one of my hobbies.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Kango, for your time.
You're welcome, Josiah. Thank you.
Wow, she sounds like a fantastic teacher.
I agree, she definitely deserved that.
Next, we'll be showing you Mr. Boychuk's fantastic classroom.
I heard he likes golf.
Let's find out.
I'm here with Mr. Boychuk. He teaches English at Buena Vista Secondary, and today we're going to get to know him a bit better.
I became a teacher because it was a bit of a dream of mine since grade 7 or 8. I had some very inspirational teachers then that really empowered me to go beyond just the classroom. I had some teachers that taught leadership. They also taught their own specific courses they had created, and I thought, wow, that's cool. You can create your own content and really inspire kids and do something real. So I wanted to do that, and so I tutored kids throughout, and I did some international ed and had a great practicum at a special ed school, and it was just a yes every time. So yeah, I just kind of followed that dream from when I was young. I like to get outside as much as I can. Love snowboarding, hiking. I camp a lot with my family. Try to play a bit of golf or disc golf. I picked that up during COVID. And you know, anything I can do with the school, you know, I'll work out a little bit now and then, play a bit of hockey, but don't have too much time. It's usually just spent with my kids, and that's a workout in itself. I really did enjoy teaching creative writing the past few years, but in some ways, my heart is really in argumentative writing, right? Critical analysis and then arguing your point, right? So not just you know, the final, you know, arguing for no reason, but sort of arguing with a purpose, right? You've found something that no one else has in a text or in the world or whatever it is, and you are going to illuminate us to that idea, and you're going to do it well, and we're going to agree with you at the end, and it's going to be groundbreaking. I don't know. I like that. I like, you know, unpacking important pieces in the world, important aspects of humankind, what makes us tick and what is kind of important in our lives, and really trying to expose people to that, right? The good and the ugly.
Thank you, Mr. Boychuk, for telling us more about yourself. Congratulations on being chosen as our Teacher of the Week. Reporting for Roberts Media, I'm Agnes.
Sounds like so much fun to have in his class.
Sure does.
Who's up next?
I'm glad you asked. Next, I want to introduce you to a lovely Japanese teacher, Miss Takandui.
Hello, today I'm here with Ms. Takeuchi, our teacher of the week. She's teaching Japanese at Burnaby South Secondary School. Can you tell me about yourself, where you're from, and who are you?
Okay. My name is Sue Takeuchi, and I'm originally from Japan. I came to Canada with my family, but I actually graduated from high school here, and I graduated from UBC. I worked for Japanese companies for a while, but I always wanted to be a teacher, and I had an opportunity to study Japanese, teaching Japanese in Japan. So I went and studied there for 1 year, and I came back and started teaching. I wasn't able to teach Japanese in the school system. For the longest time, I was teaching outside, like night school. So being able to teach Japanese in the school system, this is my dream job, and I've been doing it for 6 years.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so the second question is, why it has to be this school? Why is it because of this school?
Oh, I have 2 children. Okay, they're not children anymore, but they graduated from Burnaby South, so I know the teachers here are very kind. But having worked here, students here are very, very nice as well, and it's not just me saying that. Miss Lee, the day she was leaving here, she was interviewed, she said the students here are very nice.
Yeah. And what do you want to teach, like Japanese class?
Well, I'm Japanese. I'm interested in language and culture, but I actually really enjoy working with high school students and students who come to study Japanese. They're very nice. They are interested in the subject, and so that makes it very nice. Yeah, I actually enjoy working with young people, especially with, if I have the students from 9, 10, enter 11, and up to 12, I learn a lot from the students. I've learned a lot of, especially doing Japanese 12 project where they talk about world problems, social problems. I like working with young people. They have great ideas, and I learn a lot from them.
Yeah, that's a good one, good point. Okay, so that's all about her, and thank you for Ms. Takeuchi for telling us more about herself, and congratulations on being chosen as our Teacher of the Week. Reporting for Rebels Media, I'm Sanantida.
She has such an interesting story.
I couldn't agree more.
And now for our favorite technology teacher, Miss Campos.
Alright, hello everyone. Today, this week of the teacher is Miss Campos. She is teaching the students how to use Adobe software and teaching media at Burnaby South Secondary School. Alright, the first question is, why did you become a teacher?
Why did I become a teacher? Well, it started with passion for working with students. And that kind of shocked me because I've always been really interested in technology and camera work. I did my degree in arts and technology, so I thought I'd be really interested in teaching about the content, but really I started tutoring and I started working with students, and it didn't really matter what I taught them. I just enjoyed it. I liked seeing kids succeed and achieve their goals.
Alright, well, how can you tell us about more about your teaching career and personal life, stuff like that?
My personal life? I can talk
not
about.
Too personal. Not too
Sure,
personal.
we'll go with. Well, I did, like I said, I did my degree in arts and technology, and I did a double major, so arts and technology and English, and I went through my teaching degree through English. So now that I'm teaching tech, it's awesome, but that's not initially what I went to school for teaching.
Okay.
So I'm in my 5th year of teaching. I've been teaching at Burnaby South all those years since I started. You know, still a newbie teacher, still kind of growing, still learning, but now I'm finally, the past 2 years, I've been teaching media and photography and English and the subjects that I really wanted to teach, but it didn't start out that way. I started by teaching some stuff all across the map.
All right, the last question is, what operating system do you mainly use? Is it Mac or Windows, and why?
I definitely use Windows over Mac. And to be honest with you, it's just because it's all what I've always used. I had Windows computers growing up, so I just got used to them. But I do think that actually for media stuff, Mac is probably better. I just haven't had the time to learn how to use it, or the patience.
All right, thank you, Ms. Campos, for telling us more about yourself. Reporting for Rebels Media, I'm Eric.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, group.
2 degrees, very impressive.
It's so cool how she went into teaching through English but ended up teaching technology.
I completely agree.
Time to see Miss Elisena fantastic classroom.
Our teacher of the week is Miss Elisena, who teaches math at Burnaby South.
Welcome to math.
What's the best or worst thing about being a teacher?
Best? Best is you share your knowledge with everyone and you share your love with your students. Worst, there is no worst. Just come and become a teacher.
So many students admire you. How do you make these connections?
I love them. I love them and they share my love.
What do you like to do in your free time?
Running with my husky and enjoying the nature around. That gives me the energy to share the love with my students again.
Thank you, Ms. Elisena, for telling us more about yourself.
Thank you for
Congratulations
asking.
on being chosen as our teacher of the week.
Well, thank you.
Reporting for Rebels Media, I'm Athena.
Thank you. All the best to everyone. Thank you.
Wow, I love how passionate she is about teaching.
Absolutely. She's really care about her students.
Next up is Mr. Chow's great story.
Our teacher of the week is Mr. Cho. He's teaching English at Burnaby South Secondary School. Mr. Cho, can you tell me a little more about you?
Sure. I've been at Burnaby South since 2011. My teaching qualifications are ELL, English, and physical health education. And yeah, been a full-time teacher for a while.
Why did you decide to be a teacher to teach English?
It's a good question. So when I was in high school, I knew that I didn't want to do office work where I was just constantly chained to a desk. I wanted to do something where I was moving around and making a difference in people's lives, and so I decided to give teaching a try.
The last question is, what do you want to do in your free time?
So during my free time, I like to support my son who plays competitive baseball. And lately, I've been going to concerts, musical concerts from my past when I was much younger. But it's always a good time. And yeah, so spending time with family and going to see concerts.
Thank you, Mr. Cho, for telling us more about yourself. Reporting for Rebels Media, I'm Rafael.
I can totally relate to not wanting to be chained to a desk. He sounds like a very nice and supportive teacher.
Yes, he is. The next teacher is Mr. Hunter, a culinary and indigenous success teacher who had a long journey before becoming a teacher at Burnaby South.
Our teacher of the week is Mr. Hunter, who teaches foods and indigenous success at Burnaby South.
Hey everyone, today we're here with Mr. Hunter at Burnaby South where I'll be asking him some questions. So Mr. Hunter, what is the story behind you becoming a teacher?
What is the story behind me becoming a teacher? I actually wanted to be a teacher when I was in high school. And when I first went to university right out of high school, university wasn't for me. I moved from a small reserve to a big city, and I didn't do well in school, so I dropped out. At the time, I was working as a cook in a restaurants, and I decided to pursue that career. So I did that for quite a number of years. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to, I went back to school and got those credits and then applied to the UBC teacher program for home ec with a focus on culinary arts and foods. And now I'm here. And now I'm a teacher. And it's a trip, you know? It took me a long time. Yeah, I went back to school when I was 38. And I'm 45 now.
Second question, what departments do you work in?
What departments do I work in? I have many hats. One is the home ec department where I teach 2 classes of foods. The other department is the Indigenous education. So I teach Indigenous leadership, and I teach. I'm not teaching Indigenous success, but it's a I don't know what do I do as an Indigenous success teacher? I help kids, you know, be successful. You know, that's about it. And then I also do district-wide Indigenous initiatives as well. So those are my 4 hats. So, yeah.
Third question, what is the best part about being a teacher?
What is the best part about being a teacher? Going home at the end of the day. No, that's not it at all. This is a big one. Working with kids, honestly, like working with kids and seeing you guys, you know, develop in so many different ways. You know, the way you interact with your peers, the way you interact with adults. Seeing the weird stuff that you guys do sometimes, you know, like I've got some kids who, you know, working with food, they'll experiment in ways that I would never have thought of experimenting, and seeing the innovation that kids do. I think that teenagers are very unique in the way that they see the world, and working with kids in that manner is it's gratifying. I get a lot of energy from working with kids. And you know, developing connections with kids and making sure that they feel that they're in a space where that they can learn, they can stretch, they can make mistakes. Yeah, so that's one of my favorite things about this job is that the people that I get to work with, I get a lot of energy from working with kids. So y'all are goofy. So.
And the final question, what do you do outside of school?
What do I do outside of school? I rob banks. No, I don't rob banks. I have a wife and kid, so I spend a lot of my time with my family. I like to go out into the forest, go to the beach, just being out in nature a lot. I also play video games. Me and my daughter, we bond over playing Zelda and Mario Kart and things like that. I do a lot of cooking at home, a lot of reading. I'm pretty boring, you know. But yeah, mostly the big thing I do outside of here is spend time with my family. So yeah, it'd be boring.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter, for telling us about yourself. Congrats on being chosen as our Teacher of the Week. Reporting for Rebels Media, I'm Dylan.
Oh yeah.
Shabadoo, shabadoo, shadooby-dooby-doo.
High five!
Dooby-dooby-dooby.
Reporting for Rebels Media, I'm Isla.
He seemed like such a lovely teacher. You can tell he genuinely cared about his students.
Absolutely. The way he talked about creating a space where students can make mistakes is really nice.
Next, let's see the teacher interview from the new teacher, Mr. B.
Today I'm with Mr. B, who is my career life education teacher, and we will be interviewing him today. So what is your favorite subject to teach and why?
My favorite subject to teach is probably, I don't know, I want to say math because I'm a math teacher normally, but I like the ADST courses. I like the freedom and flexibility that comes with having kids have the opportunity to actually develop these competencies versus just content.
But what do you find to be the most difficult part of being a teacher?
I would say, I think it's a little bit different because I'm a new teacher, so everything is hard right now. But I think the stuff that I was not expecting, it's just the amount of chasing that I have to do to get kids to hand in their work and like making sure that parents are updated that the kids are not passing because they're not handing in their work. Yeah, I think in that term, like that is the most difficult thing, most difficult part of my job.
So what do you like to do in your free time?
During my free time, it depends on the season. Like I like to be outdoors, so I like to hike. In the fall, I like to forage for like mushrooms and stuff, and just like anything that gets me outside.
Thank you for joining me today, Mr. B. My name is Jun, and I'm signing off from Rebels Media.
I didn't realize how much teachers struggle with getting students to hand their work until Mr. B mentioned it.
Right? It really shows how challenging their job can be.
Last but not least, a very enthusiastic social study teacher with lots of interest in reading and cultures, Ms. Gani.
School. We will be asking you some questions today, Ms. Gani. Why did you become a social teacher?
I became a social studies teacher for two reasons. The first reason is I really loved working with children. I find them exciting, engaging, especially teenagers. They're quirky, they're fun. I learn from them as much as they learn from me. So that was a really big part of why I became a teacher. Why a social studies teacher is I absolutely love social studies. I love geography, particularly human geography and history. I like learning why people did the things they did. And I like learning about different cultures and diverse folks and the way they live.
What's your favorite part of history or socials in general?
What's my favorite part? Oh, that's a tough one for me to pick just one favorite.
And why?
And why? I really like teaching World War I and going into a lot of depth because I think that conflict had a lot of impact on the way the world is shaped today. Like it shaped a lot of the tensions and problems and conflicts that we're seeing in the world today. So I really like to delve into that in great depth with my students. And I like to do it as a simulation where my students are, participating in the war and they're trying to win the war. And then really deconstruct that and talk about, well, was that a war that was necessary? And so I think that's probably one of my favorites. And I think in human geography, my favorite topic is to teach about cultural geography because I really love learning about different cultures, different people's histories, and incorporating that into my teaching and exposing different points of view and perspectives with my students.
What are your hobbies outside of school and why?
My hobbies outside of school, I like to go for walks. I love reading. I especially love reading books that my students have recommended for me to read. My favorite genre is fantasy, so I love to read Harry Potter and other books in that genre. So that's a real passion of mine. I also really love watching K-dramas. I'm really into Korean history and culture right now due to my love for BTS. So I'm really delving into all of that. And so I love watching K-dramas. Historical dramas are really fascinating to me and just learning about their culture.
What's your favorite book or K-drama series?
Oh, my favorite book. That is a tough one. I'm gonna have to think about that one. There's a few. So I would say when I was a young person, my favorite fantasy series of all time was called The Belgariad by David Eddings. That was my favorite series. I've read it like multiple times. As a teacher, one of my favorite series was the Harry Potter series. My students introduced me to that. One of my favorite authors is Robin Hobb, and I really like a lot of the fantasy books that she's written as well.
Well, that concludes our Teacher of the Week broadcast. My name is MJ.
And I'm Mamdod.
And we will see you guys the next one. Bye!